Hey guys, what is up? I hope everybody has been having a great weekend. Happy to be back with part 2 of my round at Firestone Country Club. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more content like this in the future. It really does help me out. As I mentioned in a previous video, once I hit 30,000 subscribers, I'll be releasing a very special 18-hole video to thank you guys for subscribing to the channel. I won't spoil which course it will be, but all I will say is it is considered one of the hardest courses in the world. It has hosted numerous major championships, and getting to play this course is one of the greatest experiences of my life. So feel free to leave your guesses in the comments as to which course you think it will be, and once we hit 30K, I'll make sure the video gets released very shortly. So that being said, let's hop into it. So this was, as I said earlier, a continuation of the front nine at Firestone, which I would say was a very well played front nine for me. And so on the back nine here, just trying to get some shots back and really shoot a great score. So ho-hum par in the first hole, and now in hole 11, par 4, 418 yards, and a little fly right there. I didn't see that in the first playback, but sound up. And this was definitely one of my best drives of the day. I caught it a hair thin, but I am totally okay with losing 10 or 15 yards if that means it's in the middle of these perfectly manicured fairways. And once again, huge shout out to Firestone for having me out. This was easily in the top 5 best conditioned courses I've ever played in my life, and I've been playing golf for 20 years. So this was a joy to play for sure. So now I have a little flip wedge in, and these fairways being as good shape as they were really made wedge shots very easy. They were sitting up nice, and you could really just clip them pretty well and have some pretty reliable spin. However, that one did not spin as much as I had hoped. I was probably a little bit too close to the green for it to spin the way I wanted to, but nevertheless, I have a very makeable birdie putt. And just a little bit light on the speed there, but what I did notice was these greens were extremely consistent and rolling very true. And I've always wondered how much it helps guys out on the PGA Tour when they're playing courses that are in perfect condition like this, because obviously this was an absolute beast of a course at 7,400 yards and a par 70, but it definitely makes me wonder what the factor is with playing a muni course that maybe has more patches and unpredictable lies and bumpy greens versus a course like this that is a championship course layout in every sense of the word and has very predictable lies and greens. So that's always something I've wondered to myself throughout my career as a golfer. So left that one a little bit short. You can see on the ball tracker there it was tracking on the pin, and I thought it was money, and it came up short. That's definitely one of the toughest things in this sport. When you hit a shot that looks right on the money and the distance was off, it almost feels like you had a really good shot stolen from you. So a very, very average chip. Definitely should have gotten a little bit closer. And once again, kind of burned the left edge a little bit. And that was happening a lot. I was hitting a lot of really good putts that were just kind of skirting the edges. It would have been very interesting to see if those putts might have dropped at the caddy. And by the way, for my 18-hole special video, I did have a caddy. I thought that'd be something cool you guys would like to see. So I thought I'd throw that in there as well. And this is a pretty good drive here. I actually thought this was going to be a little bit right in those trees. I didn't realize how much this whole dogleg to the right. Funny story, I actually looked for probably 2 or 3 minutes in the right rough, and I didn't think it was far in the rough. I just thought it was in the rough. And I looked for like 2 or 3 minutes, and I couldn't find it, and I was like, what the hell? And ended up looking in the fairway. It was in dead center of the fairway, and I felt really, really stupid because there's a group on the other hole that watched me look for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then they saw me walk to my ball in the fairway. So yeah, I wasn't feeling too smart at this particular moment in time, but have another little flip wedge in. This was an absolutely beautiful shot. As I said in the previous episode of this course, I just felt so comfortable with my wedges because the lies from that fairway were just so good. And so you can see the ball landing and kind of spinning back a bit. It flew a bit over the hole, but luckily it did have some bite, and so didn't get into the rough, which was good. So now I have an opportunity to get that shot back. And pretty good putt. Pulled it a little bit, but I still had the perfect read, so rolled it right on in. Now back to even par on hole 14, par 4, 467 yards. So another mammoth par 4 and sound up. This is one of those where I turned it over a little bit and kind of double crossed myself. I was trying to hit a slight cut up the right center. I got a big break. I actually hit it far enough left to get into the fairway of, I think, hole 13. And I did have, you can't see in the camera, but there actually was some trees that were just right of my target line. So I was going to aim at the left edge of the green and hit a cut back. And you can see, if you listen, you hear the trees. And it's shots like that that remind me why I'm not a PGA Tour player if I ever forget, because there's just absolutely zero reason to, when you can hit the left edge of the green and not have to deal with trees, there's zero reason to hit it right at the pin. And I know I've talked about this in earlier videos, but something I always struggled with as a junior golfer was playing to the center of the green. Even if I knew that was the play and I'd really try to commit to hitting it to the center of the green, it always seemed like my mind's eye would wander to the pin right before I hit the shot. And it would go right at the pin, and sometimes it was a great shot, but other times, if I missed a little bit, it cost me 1 or 2 shots right then and there. So that's one of the things I really want to drive home to you guys. The biggest difference, in my opinion, between mini tour players, amateurs, and PGA Tour players, each of those levels, I believe, is the quality of their misses. I think a lot of people in the sport of golf are capable of hitting a tour level shot at any given moment. I think the biggest separator is the quality of their misses. So maybe a tour pro on that past hole would have made a par because his miss would have been the drive, and then he would have hit a wedge out to the left edge of the green and 2-putted for par, whereas I double bogeyed. And that's a 2-shot swing right there, and that's a huge deal, especially in the pro level. So I think that's something that's definitely worth talking about from time to time. And definitely not a good shot here. Kind of left it out to the right a bit and had a really tough chip. The pin was in a position where I had to really fly at a certain distance to get it over that little bank, and was able to really clip this pretty well. I got a pretty lucky draw on the rough here, and it spun pretty nicely too. So this was a really good shot. Left me about a 4-footer for par to stay at 2 over. And once again, I had a pretty good beat on this putt. Really felt comfortable on these greens. And I think it's just so important when you really, really know the ball is going to go the true roll. When you know it's not going to bounce all over the place, it makes it a lot easier. And sound up for this mammoth shot. And I'm sure this was the hole you guys were all wanting to see. I absolutely melted this one. And unfortunately, I got very unlucky because it was somewhat wet today, and it wasn't any helping wind, so I didn't quite get it all the way down to where Bubba Watson hit it a couple years ago. That just goes to show how insane that drive was and what can happen when PGA Tour fairways are baked out and cut down and roll was a factor. But had a 3-iron in and hit an absolutely beautiful shot. And yeah, hit the green with a 3-iron. You can see, it ran into the back cut, but you can see the pitch mark right there. Landed really soft and rolled into the first cut. So I had a bit of a weird putt here. I really didn't want to chip it because the grass was pretty thick, and so I wouldn't get much club speed to get it through the grass. So I just kind of tried to putt it and guess what the speed would have been. I left it a bit shy, so now I have about a 4-footer to get back to 1 over. And made quick work of that. And as I said earlier, those putts just become so easy, like almost a gimme from 4 or 5 feet when you know the greens are rolling true. So that was a big deal for me on this round. And another perfect drive. I was really starting to feel it now. I'd hit 2 great drives in a row at this point, so I was starting to get pretty locked in and really took a big bite out of this hole. And you can see driving up. It's always a nice sight to see your ball within inside the car path signs. That's when you know you have a chance to make a birdie. So just in the first cut a little bit, which was actually probably a good thing because it actually gave me an opportunity to spin it a little bit more. Because when your ball's really sitting up in the rough, and this first cut had very abrasive grass, so the grass would really sit the ball up. You can really clip it with even less grass than the fairway has and really spin it, and that's exactly what I did. Almost a tap in at this point. So 3-footer, pretty much straight up the hill. Basically just don't think about it. You just kind of go up to and hit it. And yeah, left center of the hole, nothing to it. And back to even par. And I gotta tell you guys, this isn't the lowest round I've shot in my course vlogs. I think I shot a 68 or 69 at Old Hickory a couple months ago. But this was by far the best I've played in any of my vlogs. No question about it. The course rating, I think, was either 75 or 76 flat. But again, this was a course I was extremely comfortable on because obviously it was in great condition. But it's kind of a parkland course, if you guys know what I mean. It's very lush and green, and there's a lot. The biggest defense is length and trees. That's what I grew up playing. That's what I grew up playing when I living in Maryland, and so it almost felt like a home course. And I did have a lot of knowledge of the course because I've watched a lot of it on TV. So that really helped out as well. And obviously, as I mentioned multiple times, the greens and everything else being in great shape really allowed me to kind of have very predictable results with my putting and with my chipping and whatnot. So not a really good putt for a 69, but again, I was hung up in that collar right there, and I really didn't want to chip it. And so I have this putt to shoot a level par 70, 2 rounds of 235s, I think. So I'm just trying to really make a good stroke, and I will knock this one in. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time.